welcome back to Brookfield Zoo's Facebook Live. My name is Ann. I'm the lead animal care specialist for all large carnivore, and today we thought we'd check in and see what Hudson's been up to while the zoo's been closed. We thought you guys might want to check in with the big guy and see what he's doing. We're going to try and train him with a couple of new things today and see how it goes. He's been on exhibit 2 today in the middle pool. Most of the time that you've been away, he's been with Nanu Yak, our female polar bear, but today we brought him aside to see if he would train for you guys. So we'll come over here and see what Hudson is doing right now. Christy's going to be training him today. So right now we're doing some basic animal behaviors. The behaviors we mostly do with the bears here are to help us with their medical care. Since they're dangerous animals, we can't go in with them, obviously. They're also incredibly intelligent marine mammals, so we want to keep them mentally stimulated throughout the day. So we do several training sessions a day to keep them learning and exploring their habitat and helping move from side to side and inside and outside so we can clean their holding. So a lot of things you're seeing Christy ask him to do are things like open his mouth so we can make sure all of his teeth look really great. She just had him do a paw presentation so we can check out the papillae on the bottom of his feet, check out the webbing between his paws, make sure his nails look okay. And so right now she's doing this mouth behavior, and we'll see if Hudson wants to cooperate, see what she's doing. So she's actually got a gauze pad on there, and we're swabbing the saliva out of his mouth. And the reason we train that behavior is a couple of years ago, Hudson was a part of this really great carnivore welfare project that was started at San Diego Zoo with dolphins and elephants. And we actually brought it here to Brookfield Zoo. And we taught Hudson to do that, and he's the first polar bear to ever learn how to allow to do a mouth saliva sample. And what they do is they check the enzymes in his saliva, and there are 3 enzymes that as they increase, it means his welfare is increasing, meaning he's doing better, he's doing well, his health is good, his mental acuity is great. And so there's a great positive welfare indicators, which is different than what we normally do, which is checking the cortisol levels in their fecal samples. So you can see he's following her from side to side, he's checking her out, he's making sure that he's doing what she's asking. And so being able to send him to a target like that is being able to get him to shift away. And so a cool thing we're going to try today is we're going to try and teach Hudson, or have Hudson paint you guys a canvas today. And so in a little bit, Christy's going to call him over there, and I'm going to put the crate on the mesh, and we'll see if Hudson wants to paint you a painting. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You see this? So this is what Hudson's painted for us in the past. So right now we're going to put a blank canvas in there, along with a paintbrush that has paint on it. And then we'll see if he wants to paint us something for you right now. Are you good?
Target. Good. Oh. That's okay. Let me bring him back forward.
Okay. Hudson's not used to doing this at this part of the holding. He usually does this behavior inside, but we thought we would try it today to see if he'll cooperate.
Hudson?
He may be so excited about painting that he does not shift away to allow us to put this on here. So we'll see.
Hudson. He's coming back over.
Okay.
Let me just reward him real quick.
All right, so we're going to try it as a 2-step process. So you can see I put the painting crate on there, and there's a canvas at the very back. And then when Hudson shifts over again, I put some paint on the paintbrush.
Hudson?
Or he's going to be so excited that he doesn't want to leave it. There we go. All right. So now I've put the paintbrush in the crate against the canvas, and you see he uses his mouth to manipulate it. And then that's actually painting it.
Paint. Good. Paint.
So that roaring sound that you hear, there he goes. That roaring sound you hear is just sometimes Hudson says, I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure I'm going to do it, I might do it, for enough reward. And so you can see that he is willing to do that if you ask him. And then we're going to bring in the good reinforcement now. So we're going to switch over to some chunk meat and some peanut butter, which if you guys saw Hudson's last Facebook Live, you all know how much Hudson loves peanut butter. He'll do just about anything for it. So he'll absolutely pay for it. This is chunk meat, which is a muscle meat that we use with the bears.
Good.
So we use this as a high level reward. They're obviously large carnivore animals. They love meat products. They love fish. They love any kind of meat. They love lard. We actually feed them lard often as a reward as well. The female Nan that's here really loves lard. We're actually melting it on her chow right now, and she loves it.
Paint.
Good. So he's doing such a good job.
I'll bring him back
This is how he
over.
paints. So then we're going to call him away so that I can remove this, and we'll show you some other training that Hudson does for us.
Hudson. Target. Oh, he's coming back.
Ooh, he's fast.
Target. Good.
So now this is what Hudson painted for you. It's a little bit of a paint thing. A lot of times what we do is we take the canvas out and we continually rotate it so that we can make sure he gets all the corners and throughout the whole canvas. But obviously in this training situation, we just left it in one location right now. This is kind of a baby painting that he's done, but it's pretty cool. It's something fun to keep him going and thinking. And so Chrissy's going to continue to do some behaviors, and we're going to actually see if Hudson wants to do a big high five. So I'm going to come over here and see if Hudson will give me a high five.
Hudson. High five. I'll send it back.
That's okay. Sometimes he thinks because I'm also a trainer that I've asked him to do an open mouth, which is a similar. Let me try and take my glove off and see if he recognizes. All right, good job, buddy. So sometimes if we do a cue that looks similar to another one, sometimes they get a little bit confused. We usually have him give high five to visitors and to other people. So sometimes if you're also a trainer like I am, he gets a little bit confused. So this is a lot of Hudson's training that we do, that we thought we'd do something fun and different today than we did last time. And now I think we can take some questions.
Yeah, why is he painting?
So he's painting because it's something fun and different to do. A lot of times marine mammals need a whole host of behaviors. If you go over to 7 Seas, the dolphins have about 85 to 100 behaviors. But because he is a large carnivore and dangerous, we actually can't go in with him. So we are limited in the number of things that we can do actually within, obviously, because we don't go in with him. And so this is one more behavior we can ask him to do. So he's thinking and processing. It also lets us see that he is being delicate with his mouth, so we can actually gauge his hunger level as well. If he was really grabby, then we could know that he needs a little bit more satiation. It's also a fun thing that we've done for fundraisers to raise money for conservation organizations and for the zoo in general. So that's just one of the reasons we do painting here.
Can you remind us how old he is?
Hudson is 13 years old. His birthday is December 14th, 2006.
Does he get hot in the summer?
So polar bears definitely can get hot in the summer. So some great adaptations we have at Great Bear Wilderness is that our holdings are air conditioned. Each bear has their own fan. We have an ice machine inside. All the pools are chilled to 55 degrees year round. So if it gets too hot outside, we actually give the bears access to go in their air-conditioned holding while the zoo's open, and they always have that at night. So anytime the zoo is not here, the bears have access to their air-conditioned holding. They get ice all the time, and there's a fan. When they're on exhibit, they have that chilled pool. We also give them a lot of ice treats throughout the day, so we freeze a lot of food items in there, and we let them chew on some ice. And so we try and do a lot of things to keep them as cool as possible throughout our summers.
Hudson, target.
How much does he weigh?
That's a great question. So Hudson can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. You can see right now he actually is at his summer weight, which is quite lean. So he's weighing in about 410 kilos, which is around 900 pounds. He's about 10 and a half feet tall, so he is on the leaner side of a male polar bear, but that he's still quite large. We'll see if he'll stand up for us, see if he'll target up there. Sometimes he says, no, I'm not doing it. And sometimes he does, and that's his choice. It's all voluntary. He could be getting satiated. We're giving him a lot of food today to do a lot of training. And so you can see that Chrissy just redirected and asked him for something else. So if you don't want to participate, we see what you want to do. We never force any of the behaviors, but he weighs around 900 pounds right now.
I was just going to ask, what do you do if he doesn't do a behavior that you want him to do?
We can ask him for something else and go back to it and try. We can try, we could consider moving the target lower and see if that helped. We could also, if at some point we thought he was satiated and he'd already eaten enough, we could just end the session. You can see she's actually doing a timeout right now, which means she's either letting him get a chance to lick all that off and give him a minute to get hungry because he's got peanut butter everywhere. Or we can do something called a timeout where we just take a breath, let him think about it for a minute and see if he wants to re-engage when we're done or if he's done with the training session. He could walk away at any point in time. That's his choice. He's very food motivated, so generally he does like to cooperate, but sometimes as he gets more full throughout the session, he'll start to choose the easier behaviors to give us.
Oh, like the mouth open he just
Like
did.
a mouth open, he often likes to give mouth open. Sometimes if he gets satiated, he'll lay down or he'll sit down. He'll start to give us a paw. Those are all very low energy level ones as opposed to standing up. Standing up takes a lot of energy, and even he would have to walk away from her. He may just be so excited that she has peanut butter in her hands that he doesn't want to leave the peanut butter container. They're very smart. They know where the food's coming from, and that could be it as well.
How many pounds of meat does he eat every day?
That's a great question. Right now he's actually getting close to 30,000 calories a day. We feed him 15 pounds of meat a day. He gets a big meaty shank bone multiple times a week. He gets 11 pounds of fish a day right now. And so he's getting quite a lot of meat. He gets 1 or 2 different kinds of chow. He likes iceberg lettuce. He likes carrots. He likes a lot of produce. I've said before he likes avocado, steamed sweet potato. I gave him frozen grapes this morning. He loves frozen blueberries. He really loves watermelons and cantaloupes as well.
So we just did a Facebook Live with you on Monday with the lions, and we learned that the lions only eat meat.
Yes.
So bears are different then.
Bears are called omnivores. They'll eat a little bit of everything. Polar bears are much more meat focused, and in the wild they eat almost predominantly seals, whales, and walruses. But Hudson is named after the Hudson Bay region, which is a more southern region in the polar bear habitat in Canada. And there is actually land mammal sources there and some roots and vegetables, and so they can eat some. There's not enough fat quantity on there to keep a wild bear alive, but the difference in zoos is that we feed Hudson every single day. We don't follow the sea ice like they do in the wild. So in the wild, the bears can only hunt and feed themselves during the sea ice. So they gorge for 4 to 6 months a year, and they get really, really heavy, and then they actually fast for the rest of the time until the sea ice comes back, which could be months and months and months. And it takes a huge amount of caloric intake to maintain their bodies, but we don't do that in zoos because we wouldn't want to not feed a bear for 4 months. We have the ability to feed him every day. So we don't have Hudson getting up to 1,500 pounds and then not feeding him for several months. We feed him daily, and we can feed lower fat quantity ones to keep him satiated. He actually will sometimes pick that over meat just as a variety option.
Mm-hmm. So do you then adjust his diet? Is it different in the summer, in the winter?
So Hudson goes voluntarily on a scale, and he gets his weight taken every single Tuesday morning. And then we check that, and as it changes about 200 pounds over the course of the year, we modify his diet throughout the time. So we actually start to decrease his diet in the fall, and then we ramp it up when he's with Mann and and then at the beginning of the summer, and then we'll start to bring it back down. So right now he's on his highest possible diet, as he would normally in the wild be coming off the ice and be at his peak weight. And then he would start fasting in the wild, but we'll just, around September to October, we start to lower it just a little bit because he sleeps more in the winter and does not burn as much calories.
So when is he in with Nan?
He's actually with Nan right now. I just separated them for this training session right now. We never train them together or feed them together because Hudson's a bit of a chow hound. He loves his food, and little Nan's quite delicate, and so they're together right now. We're not sure when we're going to separate them. They're actually living together quite well. Sometimes we put them together in February, March, April. It just kind of depends. Technical breeding season for polar bears is the end of December, beginning January, kind of when females are emerging from their den. If they don't have cubs, they'll go seek out a male, and the males will seek them, and then they stay together till around May. But Nan is a really old female. She did not have cubs, and so they're together right now, and they'll stay together as long as they're compatible.
How often do you train
We train at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And so it just depends on what we're trying to work with the bears, where they're at on their exhibit, how hungry they are. But at least once a day, if not up to 3 times a day.
And how old is Nan?
Nan is, she will turn 26 this winter. So she was orphaned in the wild and she was found around 10 months of age in 1995. And so she is 26, which is way older than the average polar bear. They live about 15 to 18 years in the wild with a small percentage living to early 30s. That's zoos generally they live into their late 20s, sometimes early 30s. And so she's a quite geriatric bear.
What's your favorite thing about Hudson?
Oh, my favorite. There are so many things. I do love that Hudson's very curious. He always wants to learn something. He has a really fun ice-breaking behavior. We're always trying to design toys to let him do that ice-breaking behavior that they would have in the wild where they bust holes in the ice so seals will come up and take a breath and they can pull them out. Obviously, it's not the same here, but he likes to give it looks like he's giving CPR to things, and it's a really cool behavior. I'm sure a lot of visitors have seen him do that, where he looks like he's giving CPR and saving the life of a toy, and it's like an ice-breaking behavior.
So not when we, but when Nan was 10 months old and she was found, about how small was she?
She was several hundred pounds already, so they're 1 pound when they're born. They have no fur and they're blind, or their eyes are closed, and then they emerge and they're already at well over 100 pounds at 6 months. And depending if it's a male or a female, they've already reached about 200 pounds at 10 months of age. She was smaller than that because she's a littler female, so she's only weighing around 500 pounds right now as a full-grown female. So she was probably between 150 and 200 pounds. She was under someone's back deck in Barrow, Alaska, which is not a find you want to find too often when you go out in your backyard, but obviously more common in Alaska. Yeah. All right. So we appreciate that you came here today. I'll show you the canvas that is one of Hudson's masterpieces. We appreciate you coming here. We can't wait for you to come back next week and see Hudson and all of us here at Brookfield Zoo. We've really appreciated your support while we've been closed, and we can't wait to open the doors for all of you, and we hope you have a great day.